We live in a world ruled by tyranny, where knowledge is suppressed and ignorance is glorified. A world where propaganda and misinformation travel the airways at the speed of lies. But in the midst of the violence and chaos, a great awakening is taking place. And as the media empires continue to collapse, a new network is forming. A network of truth, a network of courage, a network of awareness. Peace and greetings. You are now tuned into the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, where we examine current events, politics, health, finance, and topics of cultural relevance in America and throughout the world, while bringing you insightful interviews with guests that will both educate and inspire you. And now, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, ORRA the Informationalist.
Nothing like this.
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo.
My aura is a network full of awareness and gifts like Aura, the informationalist.
Peace and greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world. This is ORRA the Informationalist, and you're now tuned in to the Network of Awareness. And we got a great show for you for the installment of the Narcissism Series on the Network of Awareness. And I got my guest co-host for today and all this week covering the Narcissism Series episodes, which is Brother Ahban from the BOCC. And today's episode is a great one. It's not going to be a long episode, but it's going to be an impactful one, because today's episode is called Love Bombing, the Deception Affection. And as I'm going to put here in the artwork, when it comes to the deception affection, basically it's a very cunning, calculated compliments. It's a form of affection that is very fraudulent, to say the least. And we're going to cover that today for the Narcissism Series, because love bombing is very, very powerful if used correctly by a well-seasoned narcissist. And most narcissists are well-seasoned. They've been wicked for a pretty long time, and they only get better with time. So take out your notepads, take some notes, especially if you are currently dealing with a narcissist in your life, whether it be at work, whether it be in a relationship, and especially in a relationship, because this is where it's going to matter the most, especially if you are in a very intimate relationship. And it doesn't necessarily mean a romantic one. It could also mean a relationship between sister and brother, father and son, father and daughter, mother and daughter. So it's any relationship where love is used as a deception affection, and is used in a very calculated, cunning, complimentary way. That's what we're going to discuss today on the Network of Awareness. So, with that being said, brothers and sisters, we're going to get this show started right, and we're going to get it started quickly right here. And I'm going to keep it going here, because I'm going to play some music following right after this intro. And I'm going to play the artists that have, or at least one of them for now. We'll play the other song later. But for now, let's play the song by Brother Take One. And it's featuring NYBY as well as Brother Kadar from the BOCC. And this is called Tears of Israel. And then after this song plays, we're going to come and start our episode, brothers and sisters. So
you are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel. The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. Love thine own soul, and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee, for sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit therein. Envy and wrath shorten the life, and carefulness bringeth age before the time.
Tears dripping, fears gripping, years shifting. You can hear the snipping from Persian. Messiah's near, gotta complete the mission. Repentance before the Almighty unleashes vengeance on this wicked dimension. Before I leave, gotta finish the mission for my king. Not gonna switch up positions, cause Lord, I need you with me. I'm praying on my knees. Man, something ain't right with the throne. Tears dripping, Babylon's been on too long. Tears dripping, fathers walking out on their own. Tears dripping, Israel wanna come home. Depression rampant, brothers searching for answers, but the answer's not in them liquor cabinets or sticks of cancer. Philippians 4:13, read the chapter. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
When my tears fall, you never shut me out. You there to help me out. You never let me down. When my tears fall, you never shut me out. You there to help me out. You never let me down.
We came for history. Every day we fighting for the victory. Oh, Father, lead us to the victory. Only you can free us from the enemy.
Hey, Father, give us the strength.
All the many, many tears.
And you, we put all our faith.
All the many, many tears.
Cause only you can erase.
All the many, many tears. All the many, many tears of
My
Israel.
tears be dripping and sinking in oceans. I'm feeling the heat cause I'm homesick. I gotta stay focused. My hope isn't floating above all the water that provoke my emotions. I'm rolling and soaking in waters of wholeness to keep me from sinking to the bottom of hopeless. I find it atrocious, but keep my devotion, cause I'm not the only brother trying to stay up and hold it. I cry when they fold and I try for devoted soldiers of Judah all across narrow roads. And I know this might be my very last chance, so I'll say my piece for a very last dance. Yeah, my very last chance just to make a difference. For people who don't laugh just because you different. Saints hold fast cause it's been many years, and this is for family and all of your tears.
We paying for history. Every day we fighting for the victory. Oh, Father, lead us to the victory. Only you can free us from the enemy.
Hey, Father, give us the strength.
All the many, many tears.
And you, we put all our faith.
All the many, many tears.
Cause only you can erase.
All the many, many tears. All the many, many tears of Israel.
Okay, we are back and we're ready to do this. So, Shalom, Brother Ahban. How you doing today?
Hey, brother. Shalom. Most High in Christ bless you and everybody out there listening. I'm happy to be here, doing good, and giving all praises to the Most High through Christ. I'd like to apologize for my video link not working right now. Lord's will, I can get it set up soon.
No problem, brother. I'm over here switching some things myself. It's all good. So I'm just going to have you in the background. So people are still going to hear you, but they're not going to be able to see you, which is just fine. So with that being said, brother, love bombing. Let's get right into it, shall we? So,
oh, yeah.
What is love bombing? Okay. So here is a very concise, straight to the point, definition of love bombing. All right. Love bombing is a controlling and manipulative tactic most often used by narcissists and abusive people. They seek to quickly obtain affection and attention before tearing their victims down. They may appear charming and exciting in the beginning, but this usually fades away and is replaced with emotional abuse. Your thoughts, comments?
Well, it's really interesting because I now understand what to call what I was doing when I was a young man. When I would do any type of compliment, flattery, good manners, staring at my target to be able to get what I wanted. I now understand what that was. I've repented from that, but it's really it's a really accurate and realistic definition.
Yes, it is. It's very accurate and something to be aware of, and you said that you used to do it, right? You wasn't aware that you were doing it?
Yes. It was, we called it game, back game. In the day, or, you got to serve her up, you got to do this and do that, and that, that was, it never has a good result because what you're doing is you're putting on a front. And by the time, you come with your real self, it's really too late, and it only causes chaos. And it's very evil and hateful and wicked when you approach someone like that.
Very true. Very true. It reminds me of when a woman would say, "Oh, he used to open doors for me and he used to pull out the chair for me when we would go out to dinner, but he doesn't do it anymore." Well, that's because he was love bombing you through his actions. But that's what love bombing is. It's a very deceptive affection. It's a very calculated one. And I'm going to talk about some that I received in the relationship that I was previously in. But it's something that can be very detrimental to the emotional and mental health of the recipient when it comes falling and crashing down, when the shift happens. Now, there was an analogy that I was giving you in a previous conversation that you and I were having over the phone. And I'm glad that I remember it because I had wrote it down. And I was like, you know what? I got to explain it this way so people can completely understand what this is like. So what love bombing is, to give you the best analogy and to give you the best kind of vision to a metaphor of what this experience is like. Imagine you're on a roller coaster, and that roller coaster, if you remember the old roller coasters, I don't know, and some of them are still out because I remember have you ever been to the Ride Playland?
No, but
the Dragon roller coaster?
We had a roller coaster like that in my area as well. Yeah.
Oh, they have it in Buffalo? Okay.
Yeah.
So the old roller coasters like the Cyclone in Coney Island and stuff like that, it goes up and it's on that track, which is like a chain that pulls it up. So it's like, and it keeps going up and up. So that's the process that you're going through while you're being love bombed. And it's very pleasant. The roller coaster's going up. It's all nice and slow, steady. And that's what love bombing is. It's just taking you up. And then as you go right to the top of that roller coaster, and then there's that point where it's just like a 1 to 3 second delay, depending on what roller coaster you're on. And that 1 to 3 second delay, then there's the drop. The drop is very significant because that's when the abuse happens. And when that drop comes, right, that's when everybody's like, and it's screaming and it's dropping down, and it's dropping down at a very fast speed. So that's when all that adrenaline kicks in, and your heart goes into your neck, and you're just dropping down. Well, it's very equivalent to how the process of love bombing goes, because once you start to drop down and that abuse comes, you are left there screaming like, holy shit, what the hell is going on here? Because the level of abuse comes on so intense. I mean, extremely intense. And I'll give you a quick story, and then we'll go more into some specifics and facts about this love bombing thing. But I remember when I had told my ex-girlfriend that I had got contacted by this lady that I've done business with. And this lady is a very beautiful woman, and I think she was just very jealous of her. So I was like, yeah, so-and-so contacted me, and they want me to send them some information because I had did some work with them previously, and I never updated them on this information. And she lost her mind, and she tried to make it seem like I was cheating on her. But the reality was that she was obviously the one committing the adultery or the cheating. She was doing it from the very beginning. So one of their tactics is to really try to chastise and to reprimand you for something that you're not even doing, but to make it seem like you are, because they're the ones in error. So in order to smoke screen, so to speak, what they're doing, they're going to really come at you like you're doing something wrong. And I want people to pay close attention to this, because you might be experiencing this as we speak. They will come at you in a way where you even start questioning if you actually did something wrong. And that's what happened to me. I was like, did I do something wrong here? Like, by just telling her this. But in my mind, I'm battling with this because of her level of reaction. And, her eyes blacked out. I'll never forget it, because that's what happens with a lot of narcissists. When they go into these very irate rants, their eyes will black out because they got demons on them. A lot of people in the Society of Psychologists and Psychiatrists don't like to touch this, but it is a fact. They don't like to touch it because they want to stick to the curriculum. They want to stick to this is a psychological issue. But this is spiritual, because everything is spiritual in this world. Everything. There's not one thing that's not. From the trees to the grass, to the animals, to the plants, to the air. I mean, everything, to the sun, to the moon, all of it. It's all spiritual. It's all based on certain frequencies. And those frequencies, depending on how we see them, is based on however vast our perception is of those frequencies. Just like how it describes in the Matrix. But not to transgress or to go into a different tangent. When she did that, I remember that I became so confused. I was stuck like a deer in headlights, and I got smashed by the vehicle, not knowing what the hell just hit me. And what happens is, slowly but surely, unlike me, because it only lasted for a short period of time, but unfortunately, many of our brothers and sisters, they experience this for a very long period of time where they're in a state of confusion. They start apologizing for shit they didn't even do. And it's funny because I had a situation not too long ago where I got accused of doing something that I didn't do. And the person wanted me to apologize for them because they're a narcissist. They're a full-blown narcissist, plus a little bit of side of nut job on the side. But, I wound up for them to leave me alone. I gave them a fake apology, which was probably even worse than actually not saying anything at all. And it all got somewhat rectified and cleared up. But you don't ever apologize, people, for something you didn't do. Don't do it. There's a lot, especially to you men out here, to the brothers. I'm talking to you brothers specifically, because I remember back in the days in my 20s and even in my early 30s when I would chill with my peoples out in New York, a lot of my friends were in relationships and they would apologize to their wives and their significant others just to have them to shut up, just so they wouldn't hear their mouth. But later down the line, that would only hurt them because they would use what they were apologizing for against them. So it's like you're admitting to doing something wrong that you didn't even do. So don't do that. Find another way to come to a resolution and deal with the problem at hand. And if you can't stand her, yapping in your ear, and if that's going on for a long time, maybe it's time for you to move on from that relationship. Maybe it's time for you to analyze if this is the type of relationship you want to be in. But that's an episode for another day. Now you said that, Brother Ahban, you said that you've done this, but have you ever experienced this in your relationships throughout the past?
Yes, I have. Because once you come down that roller coaster, the part that you didn't mention is there are several loop-de-loops, open corkscrews, closed corkscrews, reverse full four-leg Nelson, all these other twists and turns and dynamic inverse Sasquatch rotations, all kind of stuff, it is the things that you go through. And then when you're just trying to be nice and keep the peace and move things forward, there's things that will happen when or you notice that you can do something and you're the sixth child of Satan, but then 3.5 weeks later, when the other person does it, it's okay because here's the excuse now. And it's just a whole bunch of letdown, and it's a bunch of misplaced investment on the victim's part. And it really is like a cage where you're being manipulated by this person that, after they show their true self, because when you're climbing up the top of that roller coaster at the start, you don't see all them twists and turns. Then when that track ahead of you is exposed, when you're at the top and things start falling, then you're like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? And then you just have to hang on and get to the end of that ride, so I've experienced that. And I've, given a couple of riders that experience as well. But the whole thing is that we have to acknowledge these things as fact and change our ways so that we don't fall victim to this, so we don't keep being the victim, or so that we don't do anything like this to others. That's the whole point. That's why we're on the network of awareness, because we're trying to make people aware of these things that people say are normal, but they're not.
Absolutely. I agree 110%, bro. Now, what I'm going to do at this part now is I am going to give some examples here. And let me just pull this up. I just had this page listed. Now I can't find it. Here we go. I have so many pages here opened up. So give me a second. I just had the page opened up on love bombing, and now I lost it. So give me a second while I open this up. And shout outs to everybody that's tuning in to the Network of Awareness. Greatly appreciate the love and support. While I'm looking for this, let me give y'all some updates to what's going on here. And I have a new website. So I'm going to keep networkofawareness.com for people to view the podcast, right? But what I'm also going to do, which I've done already, I'm just setting it up. I set up a new website where everything is going to be it's going to be the hub. So I have networkofawareness.org. All right. So networkofawareness.org is going to be the new website, including networkofawareness.com, which will be linked into networkofawareness.org. But in networkawareness.org, I will have everything in there, from blogs to newsletter to the website for the podcast. And then I'm going to have my videos for Patreon. And then I'm going to have a link you're going to be able to subscribe to me on Rumble and many other things that I'm going to have lined up as far as my short films and videos and a bunch of other great things that are going to come about. And eventually I'm going to be have sponsors for the Network of Awareness again. And they will be posted in my affiliate links, pretty much everything. It's going to be the hub to the whole entire organization of Network of Awareness. So very much looking forward to that. So here we go. So these are signs of being love bombed. So being showered with love can feel really good, especially if you have had a string of terrible dates. Seeing through the facade can be hard since all new relationships are exciting and you view this person with rose-colored glasses. So how do you distinguish between a genuine expression of love and the actions of a narcissist? So I'm going to give you 10 different things that you should be aware of. These are like the red flags. Now, before I go into this, I want to share something else. That woman that used to be on my show that I was in a relationship with, right? Want you brothers and sisters know, one of the things that I used to always say, I even said it on another podcast that we got interviewed on, is that basically like she studied my podcast. She studied my podcast from the very first episode into the present episode that before I even met her or whatever. And what she basically did is she created a profile of what would be the ideal woman that I wanted to be with on a spiritual level and what that woman would look like as far as her character, right? Because I never painted a picture for how that woman would look physically, nor will I ever do that. But there is a certain things that I want in a relationship. So she basically made and took down notes and created a portfolio of how that woman looks like, and she acted it out to the T. So I remember that when I was first getting to know her, there was nothing I could find wrong. And usually I find something wrong, you know, and I just have to determine if that wrong that I find is enough, you know, bad enough, or should I say if it's enough to deal with or if it's too bad not to deal with. And that's obviously means that I can't be in the relationship or even pursue one. But I couldn't find nothing wrong, brother. Not a damn thing. And the reason why is because she was faking the funk with the love bombing and integrate that into behavior that she knew there was going to be very pleasing to me as far as experiencing it. So that's when I was just like, damn, she got me, you know? So I just wanted to put that out there because if you can't find nothing wrong, be on the lookout. Then you should be paranoid at that point because there's always going to be something. Sometimes it's something very minor because nobody's perfect. And, you know, an analogy I always use is like, if it's one thing if a woman drops her clothes on the floor and she's a little messy, opposed to a woman who drops a crack pipe on the floor. That's the one that I'm probably not going to deal with no more, right? So
yeah.
But if she's a little messy, or she just has these things that are just minor, that stuff you could deal with. But a crack pipe is definitely not one. So this is from Dr. Fox that shared some red flags to watch out for. So Brother Ahban, let's start with number 1.
Okay.
I want to spoil you. Okay. So I'm going to give you the phrase. That's the phrase. That's the first red flag. I want to spoil you. You ever had a woman want to spoil you?
No, I can't say that I've ever had the honor.
I have. I've had several women that wanted to pay for everything, take care of this, take me on this trip, blah, blah, blah. That is a form of manipulation. There was one woman out in Texas. Well, she now lives in Texas, but we met in New York, and she wanted to pay for everything. But a lot of times when they do that, when they want to spoil you, it's because they want to throw it in your face. And to my women out here, to my sisters, be careful if you get with a man that wants to take care of you in all aspects, because chances are he wants to control you, and chances are he will, because if you're dependent on that man for your car, for your food, for your shelter, and for everything else in between, he's got you. And if you piss him off, guess what? You won't have access to that car. You won't have access to that credit card. You won't have access to that house or to that shelter that he's providing for you. He could take it away from you in a heartbeat. So this is what it says about I want to spoil you. They send you lavish gifts, take you on expensive trips, and adorn you with jewelry in a short amount of time. Later, they'll remind you on how much they've done for you and the gifts they've given to you. Boom. Love bombing. First red flag to be aware of. Second one. I never met someone more beautiful than you. Have you ever run that game on a woman?
No comment. I forget what did my man Tron say in Congress? I plead the fifth, F-I-F.
So let's listen to this. Okay. I don't know. I don't even remember if I ever said that. I remember saying, I may have said this. I may have used this line. But if I think a woman's beautiful, I'm just going to tell her she's beautiful. I don't know about the most beautiful woman I ever met, but maybe I have said that and I forgot about it. Okay. So it says, for red flag number 2, they give overwhelming compliments even before they know enough about you and warrant such a compliment. They feel almost unauthentic or fake. And you got to be careful, especially a lot of you young brothers and sisters out here. And even though the people our age or older, like, stop telling people you love them when you really don't. And don't say it too quickly. Don't just give too many compliments neither. Make that person earn the compliment. And sometimes it's best not to give any. It's best to use temperance when operating in this behavior, because sometimes it's better to just show how much you care about somebody instead of telling them. Sometimes it's better to not compliment them and just show them how beautiful you think they are by your actions. And, I was listening to an episode between you and Brother Could Come about the love that you can only give through the Most High, which is the true love. And yes. I was listening to it and I was like, wow, that makes so much sense, because when you are following the laws and the commandments and you are following the statutes according to the covenant that, that the Most High has for us, as long as you're doing that and you're operating in the behavior and manner or the life of Christ, then that is real love. And that's the love that will never go out of style. That's the love that's everlasting, bro. And if you're operating like that with whoever you're dealing with, then you're showing them all the love that they can possibly receive from you. You're showing them the love of Christ. You're showing them the love of the Messiah, the Most High. So I just wanted to mention that because I just recently heard that episode. I was listening to some of it this morning. Really good one.
Yeah, giving all praises to the Most High through Christ. And the thing about it is, if you want to compliment someone, and, like you said, they have to earn it. But if you see that person is doing well in something, and you compliment them, if you have the intention of developing a friendship first and being patient, improving a friend, making sure they're a friend, making sure that you two are compatible, which means that you would have to get yourself and that person to be looked at by other people, because it's always good to think outside the box, and not your innovation, but to have some people outside of you two looking at this situation. That's the thinking outside of the box that you need. But the thing is, if you're going to compliment them, and this is starting when you're just meeting them, this is setting a standard that will have to continue throughout, all the way until, y'all get together and one of y'all pass from this realm, because you set that at the outset. So the thing is, the love bomber is going to, like they would say, I think it was a World War II term, but they also used it in Vietnam, carpet bombing, where they would just have planes come one after the other and boom, 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 boom. And you would see like this mile-wide swath of land, and it's just all these explosions going off, like thousands and thousands of explosions, like covering the whole area like a carpet. If you're going to do that and overdo it and then pull back, that's when you're getting into the love bombing, because you set that standard. Now you pulling back, having the person thinking something is wrong, and then, that starts that cycle of abuse. That makes it open. So a lot of times, when we notice these things and we meet people that do this excessive compliments or compliment and they don't really know the person, we have to look at, like, what is their actual intention, and this should raise a red flag. Like you just said, it's one of the habits of these type of people. But some people will give compliments because they think you deserve it and they're not expecting anything from it. So there is a difference. However, when you getting, all these good morning, handsome, or good morning, beautiful texts, and, all this other stuff, that can easily turn into a cycle of abuse, like you just brought out. That was it.
Yeah, well said, bro. Well said.
Yeah, all praises.
Because I definitely send those texts out back in the days a lot. I remember when I was doing the online dating, I was getting so many, responses, and I was talking to so many women at the same time that I used to create templates to respond to them in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening.
Bro.
So I literally had a list of templates that I would save in my notes. And then in the morning I would get, oh, hey, sunshine, hey, this. So I would just copy, paste, and boom, paste in, send. That's,
bro.
I was doing that for a whole year. No, that's not true. I was doing that for 8 months straight, bro, until it was just too much.
So you had templates on the Roger Troutman and Zap computer love. Dude.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it was that serious.
And see, we know because we've done this wickedness. So we know, and we can tell you about it, and we can tell you that it was not done in the right mindset. It wasn't done sincerely. That's the thing when somebody's doing that. I know people that's, been married for, you might as well say ever, and they still send each other compliments on the phone or call and leave voicemails. I know he's at work or I know she's at work, but I'm going to still leave this message because that's the commitment I made and it is sincere. So what we really have to watch out for is the sincerity involved. And a lot of times people don't look at that. They look at the actual compliment and the flattery instead of trying to pull back the curtain and look at where it's coming from,
Right. So the next red flag, this one is really important. So this one is one that people will relate to a lot because this is one of the tactics of a narcissistic abuser is I just want to be with you all the time. How many relationships, brother, since we've been alive, where we've seen this acted out, where we've seen brothers and sisters around each other all the time, just can't get away from each other, got to be around each other all the time. And I know from personal experience just in the past of last year, the relationship I was in, this woman wanted me to be on FaceTime with her for hours. I mean, hours upon hours and hours, to the point where I got used to it, like she was watching me brush my teeth, you know what I'm saying? Watching me take a shower, watching me eat, watching me just work from my computer. I mean, and it's crazy because I've had women wanting to be around me a lot, but not like this. This one was the worst.
You sure she wasn't an agent, bro?
I think she was an agent. Sometimes, a couple of my friends thinks that she was an agent for that dude that we was talking about yesterday, Mr. Fred, because she manipulated so much stuff behind the scenes that led to me being tribally gaslighted like I was on that platform. I mean, she manipulated it all. I remember him making a comment, like he would make comments about me that only she knew about. And I used to be like, interesting.
Who's the leaker?
Who's the leaker?
Yeah, who's the leaker? It got you wondering, but you knew.
Yeah, she was her. But also too, when he started gaslighting me, he made a comment like, "Yeah, I'm tired of him. The only reason I'm even saying anything now is because he brought Judah into it. He had to bring Judah into it." So she made it seem like I was the one that, like I said yesterday, that I was the one that brought her into that situation, or that I was the one talking shit and all that. It was crazy, bro. Like she was a master manipulator. This is not her first rodeo, bro. She's been doing this. She does it at work. She does it with her family. She does it with her kids. She's just a wicked individual. I don't like saying anymore. I don't want to say that she's a piece of shit. I don't want to call nobody a piece of shit anymore. I'm trying to stop myself from being like that. But if you want to talk about just a low life, just somebody who has no empathy, no remorse, doesn't even know the concept of repentance. And if they do, they just won't. It's her, So one of the things she used to always say, I'm very calculated. And boy, was she. But she wasn't that good. I think that the reason why she was so successful is because I put myself in that mindset that I cared about her. And once I care about somebody, I'm going to do everything I can for them. It's just the way I am. I'm going to be very charitable to that person, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, I'm not like that no more. I won't give people benefits of the doubt. No one, not even my own child, not even my own mother. Nobody gets benefits of the doubts. We deal with things accordingly. We deal with things according to not only the scriptures, but according to the way Christ would handle these things and how Christ suggested that we handle these things in the new covenant. All right. So I just wanted to mention that because I'm so grateful for the narcissist, because I learned so much on how not to be and how I should be moving forward once I had to go through that experience, as traumatic as it was. The next one, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't get to read this. So I just want to be with you all the time. They demand your attention and time, ignoring your time and schedule. This is so on point. They may isolate you from family and friends and may become angry and make you feel guilty when you make plans with others. I dealt with this woman so much.
Wow.
Have you ever had that experience with a woman?
FIF, the fifth.
Okay.
FIF.
I guess you're a little scared. So.
No, it's not that I'm scared. It's just that you're reading this stuff and, we know how Christ says that we have to be sincere and, we have to make sure that we're doing right. And we know that these so-called personality disorders are really the evil mindsets that people go into. So, right. We can see when we've done that and way back in the past, we can also, as you're going down this list, I'm looking at, and so are you, because you just mentioned an example. I'm looking at oh, so that's what that was, and you thank the Most High in Christ that they pulled you out of that. But all of that tribulation that you went through is not only a learning experience and you're happy because you're still here and grateful, but it's also, it helps you raise your standards and your expectations.
Yes.
And it makes your BS meter that much more sensitive,
right.
In the future. So it's actually like the Lord gave you a protection moving forward,
Bingo.
when you go through these things. So now we can speak from experience and say, hey, listen, when this happens, this is what it is. There's triangulation like we did before. This is what this is. They have a label for it, but it's actually wickedness because we're supposed to love each other in sincerity and truth. Here it is with the love bombing. Lead you up, and then pull the bottom from out underneath you. Then it starts the cycle of abuse. We've been through that. We've seen it. We can describe it. The Most High pulled us out of it. Now that we outside that box, we see it for what it is. So we can put this out here to warn people that might be in this or have gone through this or about to go through this, that all is not lost. All hope is not lost. There are ways to deal with this and to make yourself fortified against being abused in these situations. And that's it.
Very well said, bro. All praises.
All praises.
I just checked in because I'm worried. That's number 4. It says they need constant reassurance and text, call, or message you 24/7 to check in. On the surface, this constant contact may seem romantic, but they actually want to know where you and what you are doing at all times. They want to know where you are and what you're doing at all times. Definitely experienced that in the past. Something that brothers and sisters need to be aware of. You shouldn't have to text somebody all the time. That is, and a lot of times we even have parents that are like this. Sometimes as a parent, you can become like this with your child, and it's important for you to know what your child is doing, but not 24/7, not having your child contact you every 5 minutes. Never forget this. I was going to reunite with a woman, the one I was talking about that now lives in Texas. And me and her did not speak for like 17 years. And it wasn't anything bad. It's just because she went into the military. I did my own thing and we lost contact. I couldn't find her number. I tried to find her in the military. They couldn't help me because I didn't have her social and all this other stuff that went down. But after we reunited and we started talking again, I remember she texted me and I was busy working, so I didn't respond. And like 5 minutes later, she's like, did you see my text? She's like, why haven't you responded yet? And I called her up and I'm like, yo, I'm working. Like, you need me to respond to you that quickly? She's like, yeah, I do. Like, she's like, don't ignore me and stuff like that. And that's when I was like, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, bro. It was, but this is real. This is what brothers and sisters are experiencing. And a lot of times, be careful, because if you're an empathetic person, if you're that nice guy or that nice girl, you're going to fall into this trap and you're going to be constantly giving updates, thinking, oh, he cares about me or she cares about me. She wants to know what I'm doing all the time. No, they want to know what you're doing all the time because they're a damn narc. That's the only reason. Number 5, we're soulmates. Now, listen, I don't know how many times I've heard this. They might use lines that remind you how good you are together, that in some way this relationship was fated to happen. One of the things, that the narc that I was with last year, she used to be like, oh, we're a power couple. When she would be on my podcast, she's like, oh, we're going to be doing big things. I'm going to help you grow and I'm going to help you blow up and we're going to be a power couple and we're going to be running shit and all this. And I was like, what is a power couple? You know what I'm saying? That's the first time I ever heard of that. A power couple. But that is a very, very common narcissistic trait from an abuser, is for them to say, we're soulmates, we're this, we're going to take over the world type of thing. Anything you want to add to that, bro?
Well, you going
to plead the 5th again?
No, not on this one. I'm going to plead the 4th. No. The thing is, it's all something to reinforce that love at first sight mentality. Those Hallmark Channel movies, those Hallmark Channel lonely woman fantasy movies where, guy meets girl, there's a big crush thing going on, something happens, and then it puts a stumbling block in it, and then they straighten it out, and then it's happily ever after. And a lot of people, they really want that type of thing, but they don't want to put in the work. So if you're getting carpet bombed, if you're getting all of this, worrying all the time about you, if you get this thing and like you barely know this person, like, you don't even know their hobbies or their favorite colors or, type of house or don't know all of their family, yet. And you get into we're soulmates thing. That ain't a red flag. That's like a red banner. That's like a stadium full of people with red coats and hats on. That's how much of a red flag that is. And we've been there and we've had that happen, so, and this is another thing to watch out for, because this is what these people do. And a lot of times, like you said in the beginning, they're long time doers of this. They have honed their craft. They have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
H-I-J-K, elemental P.
QRSTUMVWXY and Z. So, and they have honed this craft. They got it down pat. So, when they put that manipulation in there and all of this, constant calling and constant contact and worrying about you, and the puffing you up, pumping you up, swelling your head, like with an air pump, that is something to watch out for, because our lives are not Hallmark Channel movies. Our lives are reality. So we have to take a really good look at this. And if people can write articles like this one, breaking this stuff down, it must be a lot of this going on, so it's just something to be aware of,
Absolutely. So moving on to number 6, when we're married or when we have kids, and it says they will pressure you into rushing into things and making big plans for the future when you're only known each other for a short while. Facts. Oh boy, do I know this all too well. All too well. They already got you. They're already planning out their wedding dress. They're already picking out their wedding dress. Or if it's a guy, he's already telling the female, and I've seen guys do this. Oh, I want to have a baby with you. You know, I want to put a seed up in you. I want to get you. I want you to have my kid. It's like, sisters, if you hear a brother saying that, run for the hills. Get away. Get out. Like in the movie Get Out. Get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
This is not somebody you want to even entertain, not even for another split second, because you know what's going to happen? He is going to get you pregnant. And guess who's going to be raising that kid? You. Not him. He's gonna be busy while you're pregnant saying that to the next female.
Yeah, yep. And the thing is, all of this stuff is coming before you know each other's personalities. All of this stuff is a mad rush. The love at first sight thing, the 6-month wedding thing, the short-term engagement, the overnight, oh, we met and fell in love and got married 2 weeks later type of deal. Or we're at least in the bed, met and was in the bed that night and kept dealing with each other. And I just feel so, he makes me feel so nice. Well, facts overrule feelings, and when people tell you these things before you know their personality, and especially before they know yours, it's going to be chaotic.
Right.
Because there is no help for you to help you grow. And that chaos is just going to take you like a whirlwind and spin you around. And it's just a whole bunch of confusion. You would be better off both working on yourselves and getting to know each other to be friends, and then examining each other to see if you are worthy of each other in each other's eyes to continue on to move to a higher level of friendship, which is marriage. And that doesn't happen 16 hours after both of you have made that decision. That still takes time.
Right.
And a lot of these things happen because we are impatient. And I'm not going to blame the Hallmark Channel or the other channel that has these, skiing chalet business in trouble. Prince Charming comes in, all type of movies, but people don't have any patience and they fall into this trap too many times,
Big time facts.
All praises.
Yeah, like this is going to lead into the next one. Okay, so the next one is number 7. Number 7 says, when I'm with you, I just can't help myself. When you tell them to slow down, they clearly don't respect your boundaries. They don't care about your limits. And I know this all too well with the woman that I was with, because the reason why I bring her up so much is not only because it was in the recent past, but I was not in an actual relationship for 10 years before I got into a relationship with this woman. So I was very disciplined. And I was celibate for many of those 10 years. I was very disciplined in that way too. And I remember telling this woman, like, I don't want to have sex right away. I don't even want to have sex several months from now. I wanted to wait at least a year to get to know her. And she kept saying, oh, we got to have sex. She didn't even say it like that. She said it in a very raunchy way, which I'm not going to even repeat here, but she kept saying, oh, we grown, blah, blah, blah. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to do this. And then, I got sucked up into the lust of it all when we met up. And bro, let me tell you, a lot of my listeners already know this because I did a show called Sleeping with the Enemy Part 1. And bro, the most horrible kiss that I've ever experienced in my entire life. I was just like, what's going on here? I remember the first time I kissed this woman, it was horrible. Every time I kissed her. And I was like saying to myself, like, what the hell did I get myself into? Because the kiss was bad. And I even remember, I'm pretty straight up. I remember telling her, like, yo, you're going to have to work on that. We're going to have to give you lessons or something. Because it was like, and I'm being serious. I know you're laughing, but this is something that really went down. And I think it pissed her off because she was talking shit about me to other women about what we were doing sexually. But little do they know what was actually really going on. Because I remember the first time I was intimate and I laid down with her and I was like, did you enjoy that? And she was like, yeah, it was good. And I was like, she's like, what about you? I was like, no. It's like, no, that was not like, come on. That wasn't even like, I couldn't even, and I'm just going to keep it 100, bro. I couldn't even get aroused. Like the kiss, like for me, kissing is a very important thing when having physical intimacy. When having intercourse, kissing is a very spiritual thing, man. It's not to be taken lightly. And if you have that spiritual bond, usually, at least in my experiences, the kiss will be good. But this kiss was like kissing a lizard in the desert, okay? It was horrible. And that was a telltale sign, bro. And I still stuck around. I tried to make it work. I tried to give her lessons. And I remember one time she was like, oh, you've been teaching me. And I'm like, I guess I'm not a good teacher because you still suck. You know what I mean? Bro, I would have never thought in a million years that at the age of 44 years old, that I would be kissing a woman that is just a year younger than me in her 40s and can't kiss. I never would have thought that in a million years, but it happened to me, bro. And she didn't respect my boundaries. Like, and it's something that I regret now holding because I fell to that lust that I had to repent for, where it was like, I wanted to do things according to scriptures with her. And she just kept battling with me until I cracked. And I did. I cracked. I fell to the lust only to be disappointed, to where when I did crack, I was like, damn, this is what I gave up my celibacy for this nonsense. So brothers and sisters, the moral of the story here with number 7 is don't allow anybody to compromise your boundaries. And if they keep pushing to compromise your boundaries that they're not respecting, they're not the type of person you want to be dealing with, because you're most likely dealing with a narcissist. That's just a fact. Be patient. And if they can't be patient with you, move on. Anything you want to add to number 7, brother? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. You know, I'm noticing, I'm wondering, why did I even invite you to this episode, bro? Because this whole pleading the 5th thing, I don't know about that, bro. Like, I'm wondering if you're a little scared, because I'm starting to get the vibe that you're a little scared. You're a little timid.
No, it's not that. It's that I'm wondering whose relationship you talking about here. I mean, like, you know, you said that the woman wanted to see you all the time. I'm trying to think back in my past and see if there was some cameras in my room or something like that, because you seem to know an awful lot of stuff about, you know, certain things. I know, you know, some of the stuff is different, but it's like too much of it is similar, bro. And I'm just, you know, like you said, I'm not here to badmouth anybody, and I'm not talking about, you know, any one specific relationship, but I'm talking about everything in general that I've been through, you know, and it's the scriptures are saying the same thing, you know, as this list you got. And I'm just like, wow, you know, and it's like, it's good to hear a list of something like that in layman's terms so we can get a better understanding of the type of things that we should avoid, you know?
Facts. So let's go to number 8. So number 8 says, our love makes me do crazy things. This is not, I shouldn't even be laughing with this one, because this one's pretty serious. This one I feel like is also attached to domestic violence. So it says they get set off easily and become defensive or abusive if criticized or challenged. They may become violent if they don't get their way. They may use controlling tactics like gaslighting. And by the way, brothers and sisters, gaslighting, we're saving that for Friday. Faith over fear Friday. We're going to go deep into the gaslighting, because that's a huge one. That's one that dude that I was talking about yesterday, that heathen that I was talking about yesterday, he loves doing that. And a lot of narcissists love gaslighting people because they're on the defensive. They don't like when somebody corrects their errors. And as brothers and sisters, we need to correct each other. I corrected several brothers from that platform that I used to be a part of. You know, there was one brother, sloppy as all hell, on Instagram, drunk, red-eyed, talk about why you're not buying my products, why you're not buying this. And I had to call the brother and be like, bro, what are you doing? You disrespecting your wife, your kids. You disrespecting your business. You expect anybody that's going to buy something from you when you behaving like that? And I wouldn't be surprised. That's probably why he's still working to this day a 9-to-5 job, because he can't get his business off the ground because he's a damn fool, you know, posting drunk videos promoting his business on Instagram. Dumb. But I bring that up because a lot of narcissists, if damn near all of them, they don't like to be corrected. They don't like constructive criticism or anything. They're always on the defensive, and they're always going to gaslight you. And some are more violent than others. Some are more abusive than others. That's why I said it's not a funny thing, because there's certain women, and unfortunately, I hate saying it, but there's men nowadays dealing with this, where they get their ass whooped by their partners for basically correcting their partner or bringing something to their attention, and they get the shit smacked out of them. You know what's one of my favorite movies? And I used to watch it with my daughter. Me and my daughter would crack up. Like, if I called my daughter now and I'm like, what's the movie that used to make us laugh the most? And I'm like, and she'd be like, well, there's a couple. But if I say, what about the scene in the car? She'd be like, oh, Norbit. She gonna go, Dad, Norbit. You talking about Norbit? I'm like, yep, that's the one. Norbit, bro. Norbit in that car scene. Oh, bro. Do you remember that scene?
No, I think I do, but the movie is real. Like,
you don't remember this? This is Norbit right here.
How you doing? How you doing?
Matter of fact, I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but whatever. Let me play the whole thing.
You know what, y'all? Got the same chin, the same lip. I bet got the same head as you and the same eye. Well, take the test. Take the test.
You want to hear the test results?
In the case of the little baby.
Well, the test says that is your baby.
How you doing? How you doing?
There's a scene, bro, that actually reminds me.
Y'all got the same chin.
There's a scene that reminds me of my ex, and it's the one where she comes out into the porch. Eddie Murphy comes out into the porch, and what was her name? Brunhilde or Rasputia? Yeah, I think it was Rasputia.
Yeah, Rasputia. Yeah,
Rasputia comes out onto the deck with her rollers, or her hair did, like not did actually, where she's like in a nightgown.
Yeah,
and she's got this face, boy. It reminded me of my ex, bro. She had that same face when I was breaking up with her, and I started looking at her. She looked like she was deteriorating, and what I realized was because a lot of times what they're doing, they're psychic vampires. So they're feeding off of your energy, especially if you got a lot of light in you, like I do. So she was feeding off of me like a psychic vampire. But when I had cut her off, and it was already 2 weeks, but she was still trying to get back with me and still trying to keep me in her life so that she could try to manipulate the situation that she was once manipulating, that she no longer had control over. I remember talking to her on a FaceTime while she was at work, bro, and she looked like she was deteriorating. She looked like Rasputia, bro, in that scene. Just her face, even the shadow that she was casting on the floor looked a little flimsy, looked a little off. And I think what I started to see was the demon that she had on her. And because she wasn't feeding off of my energy no more, she started looking like very dull, very like worn out, very tired, very old. You know what I'm saying? Like she looked like all those things. And when I started putting 2 and 2 together and doing my research and talking to other people, it was like, yeah, she was feeding off your energy. That's why she looks like that.
Wow.
Because she wasn't getting that energy no more. It's like a vampire. If they're not sucking that blood from you no more, they're going to start to get weak, and it's going to start to show. And it showed in her, bro, heavily. There's a female that tried to play me, not going to mention no names, but try to say that I was doing that to them. And I'm like, sweetie, I don't need to get any energy from you, because if I was, I'd probably go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm all good by myself. I don't have no wrinkles on my face at 45 years old. I got the blessings of the Most High to thank for that, not you. Yep. So with that being said, let's see here. Okay, so do you want to add anything to this, or are you going to plead the fifth on our love makes me do crazy things?
Well, no, because like you said, that just opens up a cycle of abuse, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or even like what is that called? It's called mind games, silent treatment, just manipulative tactics.
Right.
And then that's always the excuse. But what it does is it removes them from the situation because it's making them the victim, because if they're doing the crazy things, being out of control becomes comfortable for them. And then they can be the victim, and that provides them a freedom from blame. And another thing is, when you're never at the wheel, things are never your fault. It's always the other person's fault. And that just reinforces and continues that cycle, and it's just something to watch out for. That's why it's so important, like you said earlier, to be patient. This ain't no meet somebody at the club and that night y'all start a relationship based on physical aspect only. This is getting to know how, basically what the Bible would call someone of a good stock, getting to know how they were raised, getting to know,
right,
like you pointed out as well, can they take correction? Nobody likes to be corrected. We all like to think we're doing right. But how do we deal with that correction? Do we say, I'm going to ponder that? Or, you know what, you're right, but I'm going to forget that. If you see me doing it, don't hesitate to tell me again. Or is it going to be somebody else's fault? Or is it going to be anger? Or you trying to help me grow, and I see you as the second child of Satan, So there's a lot to learn about people, and patience is the key. Christ said it. He said, in your patience, possess you your soul. And that's the thing. We can go into a bitter situation, or we can be patient and end up with a blessed situation. And watching for things like the ones that's on this list are very, very helpful and insightful, and they will lead you, because it's basically a layman's interpretation of what they call psychology, but it's of the scriptures. It will lead you on a blessed path, so it's an important thing to be patient. That was it.
Shout outs to brother Ash. Shalom, bro. I see him in the chat room. He said that's a Mexican wave. He wrote that 20 minutes ago. So I don't know what that means. Do you know what he means by that? That's a Mexican wave?
No, I don't. What is a Mexican wave?
Brother Ash, if you can elaborate on what you meant by that, because I just saw your comment now. So I probably would have had a better understanding of that comment based on when you first put it in the chat room. So if you can elaborate, if you're listening still, I would greatly appreciate that, because I love to know what a Mexican wave is.
Yeah.
Shout outs to the UK, baby. Keep it coming. Spread the word out in the UK. We are growing in the United Kingdom. Love it. United Kingdom actually beat out Canada now. They used to be like neck and neck, but now Canada's like actually second. No, Canada's third as far as my market share. So United Kingdom is now the most as far as downloading the show. They're the highest downloading country of the network of awareness outside the U.S.
Wow.
So thank you for that, brothers and sisters from the UK. Greatly appreciate y'all. Shout outs to brother Gadai Wan. Shout outs to the Battles family. Oh, he said not a red flag. That's a Mexican wave.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's when I was talking about the stadium full of red jerseys. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the stadium full of Mexican jerseys is the Mexican wave. Got it. Okay. All right. Now this all makes sense. Thank you for clarifying that, brother. Appreciate it. Okay, next one. And yeah, I got hit with this, and the crazy part is this next statement that I'm going to say. There's a dude that was with this woman that reached out to me on Facebook, and she begged me not to talk to him. I mean, begged me, put on the fake tears, because she was really good for that, putting on fake tears, to the point where I used to get disgusted by it after a while. But this is the next one. This is number 9, the red flag. My ex was a psycho. They refuse any blame or responsibility for the failing of any of their previous relationships. I met a woman like this recently, where it's everybody else. Everybody is against her. Everywhere she goes, she gets hated on because she's such a good person and doesn't accept responsibility for anything she does because everybody is against her wherever she goes. And you got to be careful with people like this, because when you got somebody that's telling you they got problems here, they have problems with this ex, they had a problem with this relationship, their boss don't like them, the waitress don't like them at the restaurant they go to, all this stuff, it's like, well, where do you fit in all of this? So it's like when brothers and sisters, when you're dating somebody and they always got something bad to say about the person they used to be with or persons, and they have nothing to say about what they did wrong, chances are you're dealing with a narcissist. Go ahead, take it from there, brother.
Well, in the words of the not famous until 3 weeks before he died, Kevin Samuels, when he asked the woman, you know, she was saying, you know, I had a problem with my ex and this, he was crazy, blah, blah, blah. He was like, you know, that's the thing. It's always the ex's fault. Have you actually looked at yourself? Have you gone back 3, 4, 5, 6 exes ago and asked all of these people, what was the issue with you? Was there anything wrong with you? And then you look at that and take and see if it's something you should improve on. And the narcissist is going to say no. From the last relationship, there was nothing wrong with me. And in this relationship, there's not going to be anything wrong with me either. You know, and that is, you know, is there something bigger than a Mexican wave? I'm not, you know, I'm not sure. A tidal wave of red hydraulic fluid, I guess. I don't know, but it's a telltale sign of someone that is not willing to grow or change, and growing and changing together, you know, and uniting and then growing and changing together is what that relationship is all about, you know, because if you're still acting like a 14-year-old and you're 35 and the guy is acting like he's 16 years old and he's 40, and in 2 years, y'all still acting like a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old, and a kid comes around, that's going to be a chaotic environment for that kid to grow up in.
All the time.
It is. And it's going to hamper and slow their social development down and may give them passive aggressive tendencies or any other tendencies that's not right for a kid to have, because they're dealing in an environment that is toxic to them or not normal for them or not encouraging growth. So since the purpose of a man and woman coming together is to have a family and raise that family up, it would seem right that both parties are willing to check for what's wrong in each one of them and in each other, communicate about what's wrong and what they need to fix on in themselves and each other, and change and grow. But a lot of times in this me first, me too, me three, whatever, this wicked society we're in today, that is the farthest thing from our minds. You know, well, I'm going to work on myself one of these days. Ooh, look, UFO weather balloon. And then forget about whatever else you were going to do about yourself. No, that's not how we should be, you know, and it's just amazing that a lot of times, you know, we continue in this and expect things to change. What is the simplest definition of insanity? Somebody doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, you know, and we can't do that. We have to change. We have to grow. We have to get better, you know, and narcissists don't want to do that. You know, they'll just laugh something like that off. You know, yeah, it was my ex's problem. It wasn't mine. You know, and then all the while they leading you up the roller coaster. And then, like you said before, once you have that kid, they off, you know, because they couldn't get their needs fulfilled like they wanted while you were with child, or if it's for a man while you were at work, they're on to the next one and you're left in the dust. And now you got all this confusion to deal with and chaos. Right. It's not worth it. Be patient, vet the people that you're interested in, vet your friends and move on, but move away from things like this. You know, the scriptures say you should flee from sin or from a wicked person like you're fleeing from the face of a serpent, because if you don't, it's going to bite you. So when you see these narcissistic tendencies, you should get out or or you're going to be bit. That was it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Oh,
and
praise.
you know, something you said about how they behave like little children, most narcissists, but not every single one of them, especially the ones that are very like deep rooted into this behavior, they all act like children. The one that I was with acted like a child most of the time, especially when she didn't get her way, or especially when I questioned her on things. She made it seem one time, because she didn't want to admit that she did something wrong that I presented to her. And she went into this temper tantrum through the phone and then acted like she was hyperventilating and that she had to call the ambulance, and actually got her friend to get in on it. So when I called and she didn't answer, her friend answered the phone, and I said, hey, where is she? She's like, she's at the hospital right now. She had to go to the emergency room because she got so worked up. And I was just like, in my head, I was like, I just stood quiet. I stood calm. I said, okay, just let her know I called. But I knew she was right there. And it was like, if I have so many stories, bro, about this woman and about the shenanigans that she was pulling, bro, that sometimes I'm a little disappointed in myself that I stayed for as long as I did, but I actually got out pretty quickly. Because a lot of people are like, yo, what you dealt with, I dealt with that for 5 years. I dealt with that for 10 years. And then I look at them and I'm like, how are you still alive? Like, how are you still here functioning? Like, yeah. If I was to have to deal with this woman for 5 straight years, I would have went insane, bro. I would have had to be in an asylum. It would have drove me insane to be around a person like this. That's why I do these shows, because I believe this show is helping a lot of people. Based on the feedback that I've been getting, these shows, some people told me that I should just stick to talking about narcissism all the time, which I can't do that, but I have implemented it into a large portion of my content. And it's very important because narcissism is on a rise. Narcissism is on a rise with people overall, but especially with the American Western civilized woman. Okay, women in the United States, the rise of narcissism with them is exponentially growing fast at a very fast rate. So last but not least, number 10, and it says, so what if I texted this other girl? What does it say here? What about the trip I just took you on? So it says, they use the tit for tat to justify bad behavior. Boy, is that ever so true. Bro, I got stories for days on this, but I'm not going to mention them because I've talked so much about this on my show already, about this tit for tat bullshit. This is one of the reasons I stopped talking to a woman that I really liked. There was a woman that I really liked, and I still like her. I was in a position that I just had gotten out of that narcissistic relationship. And I was dealing with a woman who is not necessarily a narc, but just had some funny ways about the way they see certain things. And one of them was this tit for tat stuff, the whole being petty thing. And anytime they could be petty or thought that there was something that welcomed them to be petty, they was going to be petty. And it's something like what you were saying earlier for me, where now based on these experiences, the Most High has prepped me on having certain standards on how a relationship should be developed according to scriptures, and also just overall having boundaries. So once I started seeing this tit for tat with this woman, I just had to let it go. I knew that it was nothing that was going to be fruitful to come from that. Doesn't necessarily was going to be extremely bad, but it was not going to be as fruitful as it needed to be in order for it to be fulfilling. So I just stepped off. Anything you want to add to number 10 about the tit for tat behavior to justify the bad behavior?
Well, great peace is had by them that make peace. And this casually escalating situations is not how we're supposed to be. Well, he did this, so I'm going to do that. Well, what about vengeance is mine, saith the Lord? Somebody do you wrong, you don't go get them back. You approach them and you say, hey, I didn't like that. And here's the reasons why. Can we resolve this? Or can you at least be aware of my feelings and blah, 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 But to just go tit for tat and, while you waiting to get the person back, is stuff building up in your mind. And it's going to be an escalation. It's going to be grudging. It's going to be holding on to stuff. It's going to be petty squad universal. You know what I mean? It's just going to be a bunch of unneeded chaos and disruption in what could otherwise be a normal relationship, and then, like I said, it gets so far, then the silent treatment comes, then the mind games come. And that's a good part of the tit for tat, the mind games, and it's just really unnecessary in a loving relationship between two adults. That's it.
And like I mentioned before, it's not even just about a loving relationship in a romantic one, but this could be with your parents, with your siblings, with your coworkers. So this falls into a lot of different relationship dynamics in the world today. So it's something to be aware of. So brothers and sisters, if you recognize some of these statements and questions and things that we brought out as far as the 10 red flags, then these are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself to make the best decision for your personal well-being. And here are some of the questions does this person make you feel comfortable, or are you nervous around them? The other question you should be asking yourself, do you feel like the intensity of the relationship is too much? Does this person seem genuine in their intentions, or do they seem fake or artificial? How much do you really know about this person? Have other relationships in your life changed because of them? Are you no longer in touch with friends and loved ones? Does this person respect your boundaries? That's probably one of the most important, if not the most important question you have to ask yourself. Does this person respect your boundaries? And chances are the answer is always going to be no. And last but not least, ask yourself, do you feel like you must walk on eggshells around them? And if you ask yourself these questions, and the question is the obvious, that the answer is yes to many of them, then this is a person that you should no longer continue to pursue anything with. And you need to keep them at bay or not deal with them at all and cut them off like a bad habit, because nothing's good's going to come out of it. And see, that's one thing with me. I respect my boundaries so much now. It's like when I see the red flags or when I see something that I just know ain't going to work, it's just time to move on. You know what I mean? Because, whether it's pettiness, whether it's that constant love bombing of compliments or trying to buy their way in or buy your love, whatever it may be, you got to cut it off, because nothing's good going to come out of it. And no matter how much you may see the beauty of what the potentiality of what they could be, it doesn't mean anything, because if they can't see it within themselves, what the hell does it make a difference that you can see it within them? Because that was another big thing. I used to do this all the time. I used to see somebody's potential. I'm like, damn, this woman's got a lot of potential to do great things and be a phenomenal human being. But does she see that? No. And because she didn't see that, what the hell does it make a difference if you do? Because if she can't see it within herself or he can't see it within himself, what's the point? What's the point? Because you're going to be in a fantasy world. You're living in a dream world, Neo, because you're going to be in a dream world, and they're going to be giving you the reality that is completely opposite of that fantasy that you created all by yourself in your mind of this person. Anything you want to add, bro?
It was something I had was talking with my grandkids, and earlier this morning we, of course, surfing the internet, and this one, I don't know if he was a real rapper or a normal rapper, but he said something about, and he said it clearly too, I'm surprised, but he said, there's like 8 billion people on this earth, which means, he was talking about, there's got to be 4.5 billion women. So, don't get hung up on one. But then when you look at that from the other side, 8 billion people, there's got to be 4 billion men, then you can cut down the percentages on what might be your type or whatever. There's like 1 billion other people, at least 500,000 other people that would be your type, whether male or female. And out of that, there would be some that won't be narcissists, so it's like when you go to buy a new car, always be prepared to walk away. Always be prepared.
Good analogy.
Always be prepared to wait for a better deal. Always be prepared to walk away. And then you won't get abused by the salesman, because that's what car salesmen do. They lead you up and then you sign the papers and, maybe the...
Ask Hashiago all about that.
Yeah, that's how it happens sometimes.
Hashiag got love bombed by a car dealership.
Yeah, it can happen, but there's ways to resolve that, because it's only a car. But when you get into a relationship with another person, there could be kids involved. There could be a mingling of stuff. There could be a mingling of bank accounts, just a whole bunch of stuff. Now you got to go and sort through all that stuff and and then there's going to be mind games. Or this is my stuff. No, that's my stuff. Well, this is my stuff. Everything is my stuff. You didn't buy it. Oh, okay. So these receipts are like deep fakes, right? Okay. All right. It's a whole bunch of stuff you can avoid, but we have to watch out for these things. We have to be aware of these things. And lastly, I think we should call this the double NOA, the narcissistic network of awareness, So, but I know we do other subjects as well here, but maybe you could have a subdivision or something like that. But once again,
the Narcissism series is a subdivision. It's another series within the network of awareness. I got the science appliance. I got the legacy of lies. I got a lot of different series that I have.
Yeah, that is right. It is right.
This one is one of the most popular ones because I've been getting a tremendous, and I mean a tremendous amount of feedback directly via email, via text, in conversations with brothers, right? Like people telling me like, bro, when you do your narcissism shows, I'm learning so much that I was so unaware of. Same thing with the women too. Yeah. Women contact me and they're like, you got to keep doing these narcissism shows because they're on point. Because it's a big problem. It's a wickedness that has saturated the very fabric of society and culture. Yes, and it's on the rise. Why? Because of social media. Social media is it is the hub for narcissism. It is the platform for self-worship. And that's all a lot of narcissists do is they worship themselves. They live in the ego. Just like when I was talking about that dude yesterday, that dude lives in the ego. It's Negro this and Judah that. And now I heard he's talking about the Black Indians. So I'm like, oh, now we're going to Black Indians. So he's taking all the content that I put out in season 3 and now bringing it into his content now. Oh, how convenient. Like a straight narc. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I thought the Indians were the Gentiles. Oh, so now the Black Indians or the Afro Indians. It's like, come on, bro. These are what narcissists do, bro. They always got a plan A, like you were saying earlier, the plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's what they do. They always got some fallback shit that they fall on because they're so full of shit. They're trying to find the next bullshit story to feed you, to keep you entertained, to keep your attention, and to keep them as the word of authority, keep them in control, to keep them as the HNIC, so to speak. It's pathetic. And that's why I love exposing these types of people, because these people are pitiful and they need to repent. That's what they need to do. But statistically, most narcissists, if not all, and this is just a fact, this is not me making this up, they don't repent. They just don't. It's not in them. And that's why they have horrible deaths. That's why they have very little friendships. They have it's one thing to keep your circle small. That's something that I'm a proponent of. I think that circles should be kept small. But with a narcissist, their circle usually doesn't even exist. And if they do have a small circle, that small circle is walking on eggshells because of the facts. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, we're going to play another song here. We're going to play 2 more songs and then we're going to wrap things up, right? Because brothers did send in some spins. So we got to make sure that we honor that. So the first spin that I played was Tears of Israel, right? That was Brother Take One featuring Kadar and NYBY. This next song is by a brother in Oklahoma. Shout outs to all the brothers and sisters tuning in from Oklahoma. And when you hear me play my little thing on the beginning where I play...
My aura is a network full of awareness and gifts like Aura, the informational list.
That's Brother Yazan, right? So Brother Yazan got a song called Coconut Waters. And my bad, I said Coconut Water too, because I had 2 files of it. But it's actually just Coconut Waters. So let's play Coconut Waters and then we'll come back, wrap it up, and we're going to play another song. And then we'll be right back, brothers and sisters. You're tuned into the Network of Awareness. I'm here with my guest co-host, Brother Ahban. And this is Wisdom Wednesdays, baby, for the Narcissism series called Love Bombing, the Deception Affection. Let's go.
Thirst is real. You hear me? The
You are
thirst is
now
real.
tuned in to the network of awareness.
Better make sure to get hydrated right. Whoa. Y'all zoom. I'm a baller. Ball.com. He's in the soft, no wonder I go harder. Me to be her mom and a father. And a father. All I do is drink coconut water. I'm a baller. Ball.com. He's in the soft, no wonder I go harder. Me to be her mom and a father. And a father. All I do is drink coconut water. Every time I take a sip, I wanna move my hip, come on, move my shoulders and jig, then take another swig. I needed a refill. Come on. So I headed to the kitchen. Then I gave the juice a boost. With some limes and lemons. Took a walk to the mall. Coconut water in my hand. Everyone who seen me, they all yelled, "You're the man." Then a woman pulled up. She took my coconut water with the quickness. Took a sip, then she moaned, "It's delicious." Then she gave me the digits. I'm a baller. Ball.com. He's in the soft, no wonder I go harder. Me to be her mom and a father. All I do is drink coconut water. I'm a baller. Ball.com. He's in the soft, no wonder I go harder. Me to be her mom and a father. All I do is drink coconut water. I love coconut water. Do you love coconut water? Yes, I'm trying to get a sponsor. The way I roll, it would be an honor. I called little shorty who would put me over. She answered and said, "What's up?" What it do? I replied and said, "Nothing much. Coconut water in my cup." Then she said, "Come over. You can relax. Take a breather." I said, "I don't know. I just put another cup in the freezer." But I did, then I ran into her father. He looked at me like, "How you know my daughter?" Then he started to cry and said, "Thank God you love coconut water." I'm a baller. Ball.com. He's in the soft, no wonder I go harder. Me to be her mom and a father. All I do is drink coconut water. I'm a baller. Ball.com. He's in the soft, no wonder I go harder. Me to be her mom and a father. All I do is drink coconut water. Shake that, work that, better twerk that. Shake that, work that, better twerk that. Shake that, work that, better twerk that. I ain't talking about your ass, I'm talking about the water. I ain't talking about your ass, I'm talking about the water. I ain't talking about your ass, I'm talking about the water. I ain't talking about your ass, I'm talking about the water. Serve chill, don't spill, you gotta think smarter.
Peace, brother. I don't have a lot of time, Take. They got the dogs on me. You know, they really trying to get me to take this science appliance, brother. And you know I'm not doing that, man.
Oh, where you at?
Not doing it. I'm in an undisclosed location right now. Up in the nature spot near that cabin I used to go to. But they got the dogs tracking me. They got the satellites. So they eventually gonna get here. I got it barricaded, you know what I'm saying? Because the only way I'm taking that jab is if I'm in a bag, brother. So Take, I just want to tell you this before anything else happens, and I want to get this out to you and let you know. Alright, brother Take, they're at the door. I gotta tell you, just listen, brother, just listen.
Now it's time to get out your own way. Allow Yahweh, today is your day to amaze in many ways. Cause it's just another phase in this infinite space where y'all be giving us grace. I'm working the race with diligent praise, unwavering faith. I'll be damned if I stray from y'all's will and embrace. Man sealed his fate with his ignorant ways. The world is disgraced, vibration has raised at a very fast pace. I'm present today in high frequency waves. No more being enslaved, all praise to Yahweh. A Hebrew warrior from the land of the brave. From the cradle to the grave to my very last day. Send a serpent to his cave, God favored my way. Never fearful or timid, it was written and given. No religion, division can stop a messenger that's fulfilling his mission.
It'll only get worse before they get better. But the storm ain't meant to last forever. Even when the light is dim, the sun finds a way to shine again. Things are getting ugly, things are getting cold, but I know it's best to stay in my zone. And I can't stop now, I can't stop.
Shout out to Take One, let's go.
I can't stop and won't stop, I gotta keep propelling. Final destination is a room in the heavens. Diligence and militance, his will is my medicine. I can live without a half, but his love is my everything. COVID is on the road, got the world on its toes. So many sheep with their eyes closed.
Hey sir, would you like to take the jab?
Man, kiss my ass, stop living by what the news told you. You got injustice, brutality saturating the streets, blood spilling for no reason, thanks to the police. Meanwhile, syringes are being taken with speed. Can't do it, you ain't sticking no vaccination in me. Despite all the chaos, I still manage to stay on the right path. Gotta keep my focus and my faith strong.
All day long.
Let spiritual music play on. All the honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh.
Things only get worse before they get better. But the storm ain't meant to last forever. Even when the light is dim, the sun finds a way to shine again. Things are getting ugly, things are getting cold, but I know it's best to stay in my zone. And I can't stop now, I can't stop now.
Can't stop, I won't stop. 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 Can't stop, I won't stop.
In the mix. 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 In the mix.
Shout outs to my nephews. Take one, Demon Slayer, Brother Julian. Let's go. This is called Consider This.
Don't you get rid of this. Consider this thing. Don't you get rid of this. Consider this thing.
How can you walk upright when your pants falling and you sipping on lean? Can't even go a day without Mary. Stuck in a web of rejection. Billboard stars twisting your conscience up like a wind-up toy. Got your daily problems all bottled, but you try to cap it with a pill. Reveling views for the thrill, and escape to remove from the real. Is it really cause you in peril, or is it mimic Hollywood? Please tell me. Sip after sip, snip after snip. You're killing yourself, can't see it's draining your soul and taking a toll. Don't take it from me, tell him JB.
My spirit was dead, clouded with haze. I was chasing the high, labyrinth mind, numbing the pain. Stuck in a cycle, I wish I had closed. I look at my wounds, open as torture, but it's too soon. Another excuse, I was addicted. Capital E, evicted out my own body, had no control, passenger seat. I was out for a ride and I noticed that the ride won't end. Had to jump out that car, took a leap of faith. To attach, had me crash, got up leaning, and I got out scarred. Most I saved my life, he cut them demons down. He healed me all around. So I'ma tell you right now, this world ain't worth it, no. Those drugs ain't worth it, no. Don't lose your purpose, whoa. Yes, I'm talking to you, children. Listen to your parents now while you have them. Especially hold fast to their words when they talking about Messiah. Consider this a warning now.
Woo! Like that little instrumentation / music cycle that we just went through. So, brothers and sisters, we're going to wrap it up now. I hope that you got great edification from this narcissism series called Love Bombing, the Deception Affection. Tomorrow, it's going to be a surprise, but Brother Ahban and I are going to do another show tomorrow morning, and we might go live. What do you think? You think you'll be able to do the live again tomorrow?
Yeah, we got to do it early though.
Yeah, we'll do it early.
Yeah.
We'll probably do the 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. What I'm going to start doing, instead of putting a time frame on my shows to be released Monday through Friday now, I'm going to change my schedule. So I'm not going to do shows on Sunday no more. I'm just going to do them Monday through Friday like I used to. And I'm just going to say shows are released Monday through Friday. So that way you either get a pre-record or you get a live. But I'm not going to designate a time anymore, brothers and sisters, because I got so much on my plate. Things are happening right now. That's all I'm going to say. And all praises to the Most High in Christ for that, for all those blessings that are being given. All right. And yes, I said blessings, because blessings don't come from Satan. They come from the Most High. Even though Satan can give blessings to his little minions, we get our blessings here from the Most High. So, any last words, brother, that you want to share?
Yeah, just want to give all praises to the Most High through Christ again. And Lord's will, we'll be around for our next show. So come on in and visit us on any of the platforms and check us out.
Yeah, shout outs to, speaking of platforms, shout outs to, let me start this up now. Shout outs to all the brothers and sisters that follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I know I've been a little dormant on putting out information, but we're going to start putting out tons of information on social media again. Just been very busy. So got a lot of stuff to put out. I'm going to put out some stuff tonight, especially when it comes to social media. But a lot of good things coming. And if you haven't checked it out, we have a new podcast on the Network of Awareness. It's from the Body of Christ Church, the BOCC. It's called the Council on Christ Relations. If you haven't listened to that show or that podcast, definitely tune in. The Council on Christ Relations. Don't miss it, because the brothers and sisters are doing some great work in bringing out the Most High in Christ within the scriptures and really bringing out the preeminence, which is Christ. And tune in, because they're growing pretty fast, man. They are putting out tons of episodes every day. So definitely tune in to the Council on Christ Relations, as well as the Golden Apple Podcast, 101 with Oxakai. And Passion Pursues Purpose has been on hold for now, brothers and sisters, but we'll be bringing out shows once a week. And I'm going to be setting up a schedule for that. And then, of course, 5 days a week here at the Network of Awareness until something changes. But with that being said, brothers and sisters, I want to thank you for tuning in to this live broadcast. When you live in the present, there is always an opportunity for a new beginning. And don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, because the light is and always will be within you. So light up the tunnel and find your way through the darkness. This is all the information for Brother Ahban, saying peace, love, and light. Barakatah, shalom.
Shalom. Yo, who is that beat?